It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It is Tuesday. It is February the 11th. It's cold as hell out there. But we're going to do what we're going to do to get you through your morning. That's the mission statement. We just got matching tattoos. That's how much we care.
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys get the tattoos or did I just get the tattoo? We said we'd get the tattoos.
Oh, man.
Oh, my first ever tattoo, and it's your faces on my shoulders? Damn it! I always said if I ever get a tattoo, it'd be a weed eater or like a washer and dryer, you know, something like that, something a little unusual.
Practical and unusual.
Actually, still tattoo-free, unless you want to count all the moles on this Irish body of mine. Let's get right to it. How about
Connect
this?
the dots. Maybe it makes a picture.
I've tried. I have tried. It's nothing at all. It's a series of pentagrams, but I think that's just a coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Your top 5 at 6 for Tuesday, February the 11th. Good news, I guess, for basketball fans. The Minnesota Timberwolves sale looks like it's going forward, where Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, or as I call him, A-Rod, and Mark Lore, I don't even know how to say this guy's name. They were battling majority owner Glenn Taylor for the sale of the team. Taylor agreed to sell the team a couple years ago to these two, and then basically got seller's remorse, is what it comes down to. A 3-member arbitration panel has ruled that A-Rod and co. will be able to take over majority ownership of the Timberwolves. So my new favorite basketball team is about to be owned by my least favorite baseball player of all time. I'm going to have to make sense of that one way or the other. I just never, ever, ever liked A-Rod. That's me. It's a personal thing.
I don't think anyone ever really did. He's not a likable guy. I mean, he's just not a guy you've ever seen in an interview or a post game. And then he juiced, you know. Then he got $25 million a year with the big contract. Then he juiced. And, what's the like? You know, celebrity relationships. Just kind of a douchebag. But
he's the kind of guy who you're right next to Derek Jeter and you learned nothing about how to do whatever the hell you want to do, but just keep it to yourself. Yeah, like Jeter, there's anyway, not that I want to spend any more time talking about the Yankees than we have to, but the most fascinating part of this to me is Glenn Taylor, owned the team forever, more than ready to get rid of it, sees these guys coming in and says, I'm going to cash in on the boom of the NBA. I'm going to sell a team that I bought for less than $100 million for $1.5 billion 30 years later. That's called a great investment. And then, oh, wait, Anthony Edwards is really good. Huh. It was just he got excited during the playoffs last year. Like, hang on. Nope, sorry, bud, you're out. I guess thanks for trading away KG. All right, number 4 on your top 5 at 6. There was a plane crash yesterday in Scottsdale Airport in Arizona. A private plane landed. This is a tiny little airport, mostly private planes. A plane landed, veered off the runway after its landing gear failed and smashed into another business jet. The plane that landed and responsible for the accident, owned by, of all people, Motley Crue singer Vince Neil.
What?
Now, he was not on the plane. His girlfriend was, and a few other people. His girlfriend, a woman named Rain Hanna, had 5 broken ribs. Other people injured. One of the co-pilots, critical condition. The pilot was actually killed.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
So Vince Neil has a private plane?
That's pretty much the first thought everybody had. Really?
Wow, I mean, God, that he doesn't even have to be on. He's got so much dough, man. I guess still playing those Motley Crue tunes, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a rough thing. It's a weird thing. I got to say, I don't remember the last time, plane crash headlines were so prevalent. Seems to be we've had enough 2025. Let's just get on with that, okay?
Yeah,
I remember like in 2016, rockers were dropping like flies. Bowie, Prince, Glenn Frey, like all in a matter of, it felt like days. So yeah, 2025. Okay, good. Thanks. You got our attention. Let's move on.
All right.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. A bunch of companies in England, over 200 companies in England, in a move that will benefit over 5,000 employees, and this is across all kinds of various industries, are moving to a 4-day work week, a permanent switch to the 4-day work week. To which I say, yeah, man, go for it if that's going to work. The people behind this are basically saying, look, the 9 to 5, 5-day work week, that was invented 100 years ago. Like everything else that's 100 years old, we're probably due for an update. if the COVID shutdowns taught us anything, it's that a whole lot of people can get a lot of their work done in less than 40 hours a week spread over 5 days. Maybe you still work 40 hours, but you can do it in 4 or 3 or whatever it takes. If you're still being efficient, you're still being efficient. I can't imagine, though, this ever happening in the States in any broad, major way.
No.
I think we are so locked into Monday through Friday. The 3-day week, the 2-day weekend is such a ingrained part of our mentality and our culture and our society. I can't imagine one day looking up and going, oh, it's a 4-day work week. Have a nice 3-day weekend every time.
Thank God it's Friday. What are we going to say? Thank God it's Thursday? Blech. It just makes my tongue thick. Thank God it's Thursday. No, thank God it's Friday.
Hey,
5 days, you can hack it.
TGIT. It doesn't have quite the same ring. We'll see. But people are saying, like, this is a great sign. It means it's coming here. No, it doesn't. The fish and chips thing never really took off. This won't either.
I'm more terrified that they're actually going to hold us to 40 hours a week. 4 days, 3 days, 5 days, 6 days. That sounds terrifying. Who's doing that? Stop it.
No one's checking on our hourly efficient rates, I can tell you that.
Oh, no.
Number 2, speaking of checking up, number 2 on your top 5 and 6, Minnesota lawmakers are pushing for a ban on cell phones and smartwatches in classrooms across the board. This is middle school and high school kids. School district or charter school cell policy must prohibit. This is a group of bipartisan lawmakers who said, after studying this, they say the cell phone policy must prohibit cell phones and smartwatches in school for students kindergarten through 8, and then prohibit cell phones and smartwatches in classrooms as well for 9 through 12. Okay, that's great. You know, phones are a distraction for our kids, and this is very true. If you're going to come in and just overnight make a switch here, you better give yourself not weeks but months of counseling, which will be necessary. Have you ever gotten off a long flight with someone who smokes and watched them race to the nearest place to light up? Taking a cell phone away from a teenager, it's not going to be oh no, you just have to get over it. Children are, and this is just my opinion, they're addicted to smartphones.
Yeah.
We all are. They're designed to addict you. And if you just take them away, point blank, boom, and then you think they're going to focus on trigonometry? Please.
Well, it is fun to watch teenagers suffer, so I'm pro for it, and it does work. You know, I mean, I read a couple articles about it. It's black and white in that the effect of taking the cell phones out of the classrooms almost on day one. Teachers, administrators say, there's a big difference in the classroom. Mm-hmm. However, didn't you say something about our state legislature having to pass something?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And Santa Claus is going to bring me a new pony this year.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let's all on the count of 3 hold our breath until this state legislature passes anything meaningful.
There you have it.
Not happening.
Want to give a quick morning shout out, tip of the cap, slap of the back, a high five to River Falls, Wisconsin. Lovely area over in River Falls, Wisconsin. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah.
We've all been drunk in River Falls. Actually, I haven't been drunk in River Falls, but it sounds like a great place to get drunk.
Bacon bash, baby.
Make
it happen next summer. Bacon bash.
Number 1 on your top 5 and 6, the government has decided, this is the U.S. government, not the Minnesota government. Hey, you know what? Yeah, we are going to go ahead and kill pennies. No more new pennies. According to President Trump, the government will stop minting new pennies. The thinking is very simple. They cost more than a penny to make. However, this is going to mean everything costs at least 5 cents moving forward. That's going to take a little bit of money out of the pockets of the people who have the least amount of money in this that will be noticed. But I guess this has been inevitable. They've been talking about getting rid of the pennies for quite some time. Canada stopped minting their 1 cent coin back in 2012. And a recent economic analysis says Canadians are paying, as a whole, about $3.5 million more at grocery stores each year because of things being rounded up. In the grand scheme of things, that's a bag of peanuts.
Just pennies, yeah.
Yeah, it is truly just pennies. But over purchases, I guess that makes sense. But to me, I see both sides of this, people getting very emotionally involved. And I'll tell you right now, I couldn't possibly care less. Every time I have a handful of pennies in my hand and I set them down, the first thing I do is smell my hand, and it usually smells gross. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's just I got to go wash my hands again. I just had a handful of coins in it. So one thing about moving away from a pocket full of coins is, the hand doesn't smell like ass quite as often.
I like that. Well, now I don't know what to tip with. And what are douchebags going to pay their bills in?
Terry wants to pay a $6,500 credit card bill with pennies. That's 650,000 of them. He's been trying to make the payment for days.
Yeah, come on. I mean, what are you supposed to pull up to City Hall and dump 650,000 pennies? No. I mean, if you do it with nickels, people are going to want that money. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I'm over the penny thing.
Plus, a nickel can do some damage. I mean, if you get one just the right amount of lift across a bar and come in lucky, you can do it. Well, you know what? We don't need to talk about my coin throwing days. You know what? There is your top 5 and 6 for February the 11th. What's the most expensive, either for sentimental value, emotional reasons, or literally what's worth the most? What's the most expensive? What's the most valuable thing you ever lost? I want to know. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Feel free to call in or send a text. I'm imagining it's not quite the situation that a guy in England named James Howell is dealing with. Actually, he's in Wales. Excuse me, British enthusiasts. He's Welsh. James Howell, we talked about this guy last year. There's a little bit of an update. But just to remind you of what's going on, his partner accidentally threw out a hard drive back in 2013 that contained his 8,000 Bitcoin tokens. Now, at a time when most of us had never heard of Bitcoin, James Howell had found 8,000 of them. His partner accidentally threw out that hard drive. Those 8,000 Bitcoin tokens are now worth an estimated $620 million. He was talking about the fact that he wants to go through the landfill where he's convinced his garbage ended up to try to find it. We have a little bit of James Howell talking about this from last year.
I want to preface this, actually. This is James Howell. I verified it. It is him talking about it last year, but his story has changed.
As soon as I put it in the bin at home, I had a second thought. You've never thrown a hard drive out before. Why start now? A little demon in the back of my head sort of thing. But I didn't take it out and then came down to the landfill site here with the other bags that I brought. The penny dropped then, that I had 7,500 Bitcoins on a hard drive that I'd thrown out a few months ago. Well, absolutely devastated, as you can imagine. I just wish I could go back in time and not throw that drive.
Yeah, or maybe just a memory wipe, maybe some radiation, they blast your brain. So now he has a partner, in quotes, that lost that for him,
That's it. First things first, if your partner throws away a hard drive with $620 million on it, is that person still your partner, or is that your former partner?
Well, I mean, it is nice to have leverage over your partner. I've never been that person in the relationship. It's always them lording over me, going, remember when you did that? And I did that. I'm a bad boyfriend. So it might be nice just to be in a relationship where I can go, you lost $500 million.
Yeah.
I'm not helping with the dishes this weekend.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm not cleaning. $500 million. I have a freaking butler. So I don't know. For that reason, I might stay in it. But no, that would be awkward in the relationship, wouldn't it? Especially every time the rent's about a week late.
Every time. Every moment of every day. This guy, James Howell, last year, we talked about him because he was trying to get the town, the people that run the town he's from. He was like, listen, you've got this giant landfill. It's acres and acres and acres, but I'll pay to excavate through it all and try to find the hard drive. Now, again, this is 11 years sitting in a landfill. And he's like, no, I still might be able to relocate these Bitcoins. The town ultimately said, no, if you go digging in there, you're going to turn up so much toxic sludge and bad stuff, and you're gonna poison the whole area. I don't know how that really works, but anyway, he was denied. Now the town is planning to sell the landfill to a company that's going to put solar farms there. And he's going, well, hang on, let me just buy it then. I'll buy it from you. It's 350,000 tons of trash. He wants to buy it, and he tells the council, look, if I find it, I'll give you $10 million. They're like, dude, Give it up. Let's get out of here. So it looks like he's finally, that last reprieve from the governor ain't going to happen. God. It's going to be a solar farm, which is kind of insult to injury, because if you know anything about Bitcoin, and I know very little, the energy consumption to harvest, as they say, Bitcoins, it's incredible. It takes so much electrical energy, electronic waste, and freshwater consumption to operate the Bitcoin world. I don't know how or why, but that's true. It's almost like they're going, not only are we not going to let you get your Bitcoin, we're going to replace the place that has your Bitcoins with a solar farm. So in your face, James Howell.
Only human beings could make up something, make an imaginary type of currency that actually is worse for the planet. If you're going to make it up, just make it up. You don't have to use up a hell of a lot of energy. I just made up Rider Coin. Yeah. Rider Coin. Buy it now. Just call us right now. We're selling it at a penny a piece while the pennies left.
Pennies, and you know
Got to pay in pennies. I mean, I don't understand it either. It's way over my head, but that would not happen here in America, because a little caveat to this story, when you throw something in the landfill in America, it's theirs. They own it.
Yeah, sure.
You don't get it anymore. So, yeah, I'd love to hear about someone's. If I'm owning a landfill, I'd love to hear about your hard drive worth how many ever hundreds of millions of dollars. But, yeah, this guy's going to take it to his grave. He's going to be sitting there on his deathbed. His rosebud is going to be Bitcoin, and you know, he's never gonna have a happy, just carefree moment again in his life.
You've never seen a man work harder than the guy operating a landfill in America who hears there might be a hard drive worth $600 million out there.
Hey, get those guys at Oak Island. Oh, no, wait. They didn't find anything, did they, after 15 seasons? You ever watch Oak Island?
No, never have.
It's two guys looking for a treasure apparently a pirate may have left on this island. And it's about 12 seasons in, and I know people still watching it. I'm like, they're not even looking at. They're mining you. They're mining you. Yeah,
that's exactly right. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. What's the most valuable thing you ever lost? The first two answers I see, my mind from Carrie, and JD texted my virginity. Or actually said, does virginity count? So, yes, of course it does. Yeah. It absolutely counts. Sure it does. Let us know. What's the most valuable thing you ever lost? I'm combing my mind. Couple things spring forward. Painful but true. We'll get to this in a bit, because right now it's time to prepare ourselves for a history lesson.
Sports history with the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is Sports and Music History. On this day in 1990, Mike Tyson was in Tokyo, Japan to fight a complete unknown named Buster Douglas. Nobody really cared. It was just a meaningless bout. Noon in Tokyo, 10 p.m. East Coast time. Very few people even watching. Nobody expected much. And then this happened.
Mike actually, his legs, notice his legs and these wide legs together as Buster's landing these. Oh, nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this. His career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas.
Nobody had ever seen Mike Tyson on the canvas, and James Buster Douglas, of all people, was the first to put him down, the first to keep him down. Buster Douglas, heavyweight champion of the world. I was watching this fight. I was one of the few people, and after the fight, at about 11 or midnight that night, I went into a pool hall, and everybody's shooting pool and talking, and I was walking around going, did you see the Tyson fight? And nobody had even heard the news yet, and nobody believed me.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was absolutely unbeatable.
That's why we all quit watching the fights. And I remember seeing Buster Douglas training. They showed one of the training videos about a week out. And I thought, Blubber Boy is going to beat Mike Tyson. I don't think so. And I don't even think I bought into it the next morning. I went, no.
Yep. Before the fight, the longest odds in heavyweight championship fight history were 10-1. For this fight, only one book in Vegas offered odds. It was 42-1. It was insane. Buster Douglas celebrated by not fighting for 8 months. And when he finally did defend his crown, he booked a fight with Evander Holyfield, who knocked him out in the third round. And what did Buster Douglas do? He retired.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely wasn't a fix. There's no way this was fixed. Yeah. The fight wasn't fixed between Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. It wasn't immensely great for the gambling community, for boxing in general, for Mike Tyson. because then it made him interesting to fight again, and his money, they said, tripled after he lost that fight. So, and then Buster Douglas, of course, his big payday and Moment in the Sun, but it was not fixed.
Never.
It was a legit fight. Yeah, boxing.
I can't believe you said that word.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
Oh, I was just trying to get my facts straight. Unfun.
Unfun.
Not fun.
Not fun, not fun.
Entirely unfun.
The KQ Morning Show presents
Unfun.
Facts. Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, I got unfun facts for you for this unfun Tuesday morning on the KQ Morning Show. Check this out. There is a spider. It's known as the Brazilian wandering spider. And if it bites you, you can have pain and swelling at the bite site, sweating, nausea, difficulty breathing, and if untreated, death. But before you die, it will give you an multiple hours long, very painful boner.
Pops the boner from hell.
Yeah. I've learned that if it lasts for 4 hours or longer, you're supposed to see a doctor.
Well, this happens because there's a toxin called TX26. It stimulates the release of nitric oxide. That's the chemical that relaxes blood vessels, and increases blood flow to Big Jim. Now, treatment may include antidotes, medications to block the effects, and to relieve the erection, surgery.
Oh.
Yeah?
I
know a gal at King of Diamonds that does that on the side.
No, the old favorite. How do I get rid of this erection? Doesn't work with the Brazilian wandering spider.
Yeah.
So you go through all that trouble of doing what you would normally do, and then you're still stuck with, again, a very painful pre-death erection.
What's the surgery do? I mean, what do they do? They go in and what?
That's what I said. I'm not willing to share any more information than I already have.
I'm going to Google it and hit images.
Here's another unfun fact. If you get a blood transfusion and they accidentally give you the wrong type of blood, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And one of the symptoms, and this is proven over time, a sense of impending doom. Your body knows. Your body, your brain, your central nervous system, it's like, I got a real dark cloud coming in overhead right now.
Yeah, either that, a bad blood transfusion, or picking up your phone.
One or the other.
Yeah.
People who stay up late are more likely to be psychopaths than early risers are. Here's the scariest thing. Okay, now, I'm both. I stayed up late for decades, and now I'm an early riser, so I'm a covert psychopath. Here's an unfun fact. When UPS started offering a parcel service in 1913, families in America often attempted to send their children via UPS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the kid wants to see his grandma, and she's in Iowa. Hey, let's send him in a box, UPS. Yeah, those were good old days.
That's when we used to be able to win wars.
That's exactly right.
Toughen them up.
We raised our kids in crates, and we won wars.
Yeah.
Here's a spectacularly unfun fact. It can be unfun and funny at the same time. The longest poo ever produced and documented from a human being was 26 feet long.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was thinking of time-wise. I was going to say, boy, I get in there because I have to win a game of solitaire before I call it quits, and so you'd be surprised how long it takes. So 26 feet. What do you just, are you just walking like a dog? I mean, how do you get laid out?
For 26 feet, I'm assuming that's an actual game of solitaire with cards. That's not an app on your phone. You're actually going through the whole process with the cards.
With the TV tray, yeah.
Man, I would hope so. Here's an unfun fact. If you stifle a sneeze, which we've all done, there's a chance you can damage organs in your head, including eye blood vessels, rupturing your eardrums. You could possibly rupture a brain aneurysm, which means there is, in fact, a small chance. So you're saying there's a chance, a small chance that stifling a sneeze can kill you. Let the sneezes loose, people.
Yeah, Mom was right. Every once in a while, Mom is right. But, Brian, don't hold in your sneeze. You're going to hurt yourself. I'm like, that's not true, but it is true. And I mean, one of life's great pleasures is having to sneeze and then the full blown up sneeze, where you launch yourself into it.
Yeah. There are a few things I enjoy more, and the anticipation is even more exciting than the actual delivery. I love when I recognize, oh my God, it's coming. It's just a great feeling.
I need a bright light.
Yeah, there you have it. Yeah. And then finally, your final unfun fact for the day: termites outweigh the world's humans. 10-1. That's how many termites there are. A termite weighs like a speck. It's like a piece of dust. And there are more termites in the world than humans to a factor by weight of 10-1. I don't know how many trillions of termites that is, but I want to live inside a steel cased housing from now on, knowing that. There are your unfun facts for the day. Here's something unfun. A dude in Wales lost a hard drive with $620 million worth of Bitcoin on it. What's the most expensive or most valuable thing you've ever lost? 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. James Howell is a dude in Wales over there in the United Kingdom. He had a hard drive with 8,000 Bitcoin tokens on it back in 2013. And then he made the mistake of throwing it away. It ended up in a landfill, and he has been trying to get into that landfill to dig up that hard drive ever since. His final opportunity to get in there looks like it's been denied because the city where he lives is selling the landfill now to what will become a group that wants to put in a solar farm. So it's probably about time James Howell finally says goodbye to $620 million, the value of those Bitcoin tokens. $620 million. He just put it into a trash bag, put that bag in the trash bin. The bin went to the landfill, and he said, see you later. I have lost my wallet once, and it had maybe $30 in it, a couple of credit cards, my driver's license. That thing haunted me for weeks. Nobody used my credit cards. I was able to get them turned off. I lost very little cash, but just the idea of losing it and knowing it's not going to be there, and someone else found it. Did they go through it? And this was back in the time when you would still have photos in your wallet. This is like the 90s. I still think about it. It's still weird. Believe me, it's still weird. It's like, I can't believe I hate losing something, whether you care or not. I'd much rather, like, if I'm going through my house and I'm decluttering and I throw a bunch of crap away. Great. I made the choice. I never think about it again. Losing something that I don't care about haunts me. It's just like it's like the idea of it.
In an argument, in a relationship, I did. Junk drawer, is the junk drawer bothering you? I went over and just dumped the entire junk drawer, just dumped it in the garbage, took the garbage out, and then about 3 months later realized my extra key fob to my truck was in there. You know how much one of those bad boys cost?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be kidding me. I went on eBay and got a hack job for about $40, but then you got to take it to the dealership and get it programmed. And so I lost a pair of Oakleys in Sturgis. I don't know. I haven't lost much of value over the years. Nothing that I lost my wallet one time too, but there wasn't anything in there.
A lot of text messages, a lot of posts on the KQRS Facebook page about wedding rings. I lost mine last year, if you remember.
Yeah.
I was walking the dog. And it was funny. Rosemary was actually out of town, and I was talking on the phone with her. I walk in the door with Chauncey, taking a nice walk. I walk in, and we're just chatting, and I take his leash off, and I got her on speaker, and I'm just, and I look down, and I went, oh, my God, my wedding ring's gone. And, of course, she's like, I'm sorry, what? I go, my ring's gone. It's the only piece of jewelry I have ever or will ever wear. And I retraced my whole steps from the walk, did everything, never found it again. It was a gut punch. We didn't have that sort of thing of like, this is an omen for our marriage. It wasn't that at all. It was just, oh my God, that's terrible. How did that? And I still don't understand how it happened. I don't have the kind of, it doesn't just fly off ever. I mean, if I put a bunch of shampoo in there, maybe it might slide off. But I still never understood. I was just out walking the dog. I picked up one time he took care of business, had to get the bag out, pick up his poo. maybe it slid off there. I don't know how. So I just replaced it. Ultimately, several people came forward and I got a metal detector, and I was like, I'm not going to walk the streets of Minneapolis.
It's a wedding ring, all right?
Thank you. I'm just not going to do that. On the Facebook page, Michael wrote, I used to collect comic books as a kid, and I kept going till I graduated high school. I had them on face value around $3,000. 25-cent, 50-cent, and dollar issues. Went to the Army. When I came home on leave, my mom had given them away.
In
1985 money, they were worth about $75,000.
Yeah, wow. So you didn't lose them. Yeah, no. That's a different topic. Mom getting rid of valuable stuff.
That would be my Little League glove, by the way. My Little League glove got very little use in baseball. I played only one season. I broke my arm after the first game.
Yeah.
I got a championship sitting on the bench with the cast. I was like the emotional, mascot of the team. But I got it autographed a lot. This is as a kid growing up in Baltimore. The 73, 74, 75 Orioles, many signatures on my baseball glove. Like Brooks Robinson. I mean, you're talking about 16 Gold Glove guy. Jim Palmer, Boog Powell, legendary 70s Orioles. Came home from college one day, and my mom had done the same thing. I just cleaned out a bunch of the crap you guys never use anymore. And I was like, what about that little baseball glove? She goes, the one with all the smudges? And I was like, okay. All right, we'll get over that one day.
She freed you from it. Yeah. Would you think you would ever sold it?
I wouldn't have. I would still be hanging on to that bad boy because by now I think it would be hard to prove that's actually Brooks Robinson's signature 3 times. It was all faded, but I would still have it. Ryder, have you ever lost anything that mattered?
Once upon a time, and we'll get into this a different time, my apartment burned down, so I lost everything, and I was like, the universe just doesn't want me to have things anymore, and I felt free, so it was awesome. So I lost a ton of stuff, none of it mattered.
Unga delungala.
Is that when you discovered? Is that when you discovered your love of arson, or was? Wow, I never knew this would turn into such a hobby. So that's good then. So I mean that's terrible. But you don't have that one thing.
I don't
that
have
sticks
that
out.
one thing that sticks out to me. No, because we're free.
Tom wrote on Facebook, a tackle box loaded with crankbaits. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Stick with jigs. Catch real fish. Peter lost his wife and is not offering a reward.
My son, Connell Gorman, big Madden football player, like just about everybody you know, loved Madden. We had a Wii system, a Wii console in the house, and he had the disc, the DVD or whatever you would call it, to play Madden football. And he would play that bad boy. I mean, every day we would have to tell him, that's enough. And the thing with the Wii that we told our kids is every time you finish, you have to remove the disc and put it back in its container. You have to teach them to be responsible with these very expensive games. His Madden disc came up missing one day, and he was devastated. And we were like, Bud, this is why we focus on these things. You got to know the value of $1. That's an expensive game. You've always got to put it away. He goes, I did put it away. We're like, maybe you forgot. And he was devastated, and we did not replace it. And about a year and a half later, we found that disc under Marley's bed.
Marley.
She took it and she put it under her bed because she was so sick of him playing Madden all the time. And that's when I realized our daughter is a complete sociopath.
Very crafty.
Yeah, more time to pick on your sister when you don't have a video game to play.
18 months of a poker face. Good job, kid. All right, so, moving on to sunnier topics. Remember the first time you had sex? Do you remember the last time you had sex? Not so easy for some of us. You're like, well, hang on. It was the first time everybody knows, and we've got a few people who have a lot to say about that. We'll get into first time, last time. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Tuesday morning. It is February the 11th, which means we're only a few months away from, wait for it, I'm about to make a huge announcement. Are you ready?
Oh, boy.
Def Leppard appearing Friday, August 29th at the Minnesota State Fair Grandstand.
What? What are the odds? Yeah, they're almost never at the State Fair.
They've been there a few times in the past that Google just told me. I was like, hey, this is not the first time and probably won't be the last time.
Yeah. Stay away from the corn dog.
Friday, August 29th, Def Leppard at the Minnesota State Fair Grandstand. Nice. I would imagine this radio show will be giving away tickets at some point. Maybe sooner than later. You just never know. But everybody remembers the first time they heard a Def Leppard song, or maybe not. Everybody remembers the first time they saw Def Leppard, probably. Everybody absolutely remembers the first time they had sex. I mean, and if you don't, I'm going to have to assume it's because you went to the hooch too many times. You know that someone said, no, it's grain alcohol, but the purple grape juice makes it the Kool-Aid. I mean, it makes it taste it. And then you're on your third cup, and then someone the next day says, "Hey, you had sex," and you're like, "I did? Shoot, I missed it." That's possible, but generally, for the most part, I think we all remember. I don't think anything comes close to sex in terms of before you have it, it's all you think about. And then after you have it, it's all you think about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of the one thing that kind of maintains its relevance, at least for the first few decades into your life. What is Woody Allen, I believe, who first said sex is like pizza? When it's good, it's great. And when it's bad, it's still really good. Yeah. So, that's kind of how that goes.
I love pizza.
Who doesn't? Younger couple, and I like deep dish. I like thin crust. I mean, I like it all. Young couples talking about the first time they had sex. Boy, we all remember the specifics pretty great. Here's a handful of people discussing the first time, and then we'll get around to the last time. But the first time, the details, crystal clear.
Well, we had known each other for quite a while. We came back from a party, and we went upstairs, and we just started making out, and
we had to be very quiet. There were people in the house.
I think he kicked the dog out, he shut the door, and then I was like,
close the
it's about to
back
happen.
curtains so the dog couldn't even look in, go play with the squirrels.
I was on a love seat in my living room. There was somebody sleeping relatively right next to us, and somebody in the bedroom, and then some other people passed out, I think in the hallway dining room kind of area. In the truck.
Shit, it was in my uncle's truck.
It was awkward.
Yeah, it was awkward because we couldn't move around,
Right at that critical moment, I get a leg cramp.
Oh, sure you did. My favorite line, and there were people passed out in the hallway. If there weren't people passed out in the hallway, did it really happen? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Everybody's had that sex where everybody passes out in the same room, too. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes there's the old switcheroo. Sometimes it's why don't I lay down over there and you lay down over here and see and it's dark, Switcheroo's kind of nice too.
It's easy to get things confused in a dark drunken den of iniquity. I could tell you, I could go into glorious detail about the first time I had sex if I wanted to, which I don't care to, but I will say this.
Yeah.
Had been dating a girl for a while that was not, we were young, and it was like, okay, well, we can't do that, but we can do this, and I navigated that, and we never crossed the finish line, as they say, never went all the way. And then on a complete lark with a girl that I just kind of known, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, this is happening. Wait, we're not even technically on a date. We're just at the same house. And and I'm like, wait, this is how this can happen? I don't have to date you for a year? This is amazing. And then, and then it was very quick. And then it was very quick again. And then it was not quite as quick, but still, it was just one of those experiences. And the whole time, all I was thinking was this. I hope she doesn't ask if this is my first time.
Well, you can lie anyway. Everybody lies about their first time.
We were... I think that after that, probably shared 6 or 7 words total ever for the rest of our lives. Because I would see her occasionally and just be like, hey, and just keep walking because I just couldn't bear the thought of processing or discussing all that had happened on that fateful night.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Mine had the decency to live 2 states away, so just kind of a summer loving. Had me a blast. I've told the story too many times.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to turn that loose again. Yeah.
No. There's always a Mike Reno element that makes me just kills me every time. See, I don't believe there was actually music playing for mine. That's the bad thing. I don't have a song that for the rest of my life haunts me like you have.
Oh, me neither. Yeah.
No,
I don't know. It's all right.
What was that, Ryder?
I don't have a song either that haunts me the same way that Zepp haunts him.
Wouldn't it be great if Ryder said, I don't have a song, but I do have a recording of Morgan Freeman reading from the New Testament, or just some totally bizarre. No, it was an audio tape, and I couldn't believe, but I was like, I'm not going to turn it off now. And so, yeah, it was actually really, really enlightening and exhilarating. I was really hoping you were going down that way. That's exciting. We all remember all the details. I mean, I can tell you what I was wearing. I can tell you what she was wearing. I can tell you her middle name because somehow it came out in the conversation right before. But that's for me to know. What about the last time you had sex? There's a point in your life when you literally, someone says, when's the last time you had sex? What were the details? And you have to go, hang on. And so, of course, we've got some of that audio as well from not the same people.
Describe the last time you had sex.
It's like a week ago.
It was more than that because
She's been out of town.
Yeah.
The last time.
Like the most recent?
Oh my gosh.
When was the last time we had sex?
I think it's like a week and a half ago.
You don't have to add the half. You can just say a week.
I mean, I'm a new mom. I'm tired. Crazy hormones. Mom doesn't sleep if baby doesn't sleep.
And if mom doesn't sleep and baby doesn't sleep,
Dad doesn't get any.
It's hard when you have 3 kids. And so, we have to be quick and quiet.
Yeah, which isn't the way that you would like to describe your sex life, is quick and quiet.
Well, that's not the way a lot of people, I mean, some people think that's perfect.
Now, that wasn't my sex life until I met a partner. I mean, that was my sex life. Quick and quiet, at home. Just keep her down, Mom and Dad. They're just down the hall. Isn't that really the point, though? I think that's ultimately what we're shooting for. As a man in my advanced years, aren't we just looking to get to a place where we can just let ourselves go? Meet someone, make it long enough to just let it all go. Maximum not giving a shit. It's freeing, I think. I don't want to remember the last time I had sex. I don't even want to care.
I heard someone the other day, I heard something and they said, who you are when your partner leaves town is who you really are. Yeah. And I was like, crap, I'm just the same guy but less talkative.
I know.
I'm like, oh man, I'm really boring. I was hoping I'd have a secret identity going on here.
I know.
I just don't ask what you want to watch. I just put something on. That's the main difference. Still got to walk the damn dog. Still got to heat up a can of soup occasionally.
Yeah, I don't do the chores daily. I wait until the last minute. That's the difference.
No, that's tough. Hey, Minnesota State Fair this summer, as we just mentioned a few moments ago, Def Leppard, Friday, August 29th. That's kind of cool. I'm looking. You know what? I've seen Def Leppard, but I've not seen Def Leppard with fried pickles in hand. I've not seen Def Leppard with corn dogs and everything else that comes with the fair in hand. So that might be worth taking in. You know what I mean? That's a whole new experience. It's like it's sex in the bed, but have you ever had sex in the hammock? Have you ever had sex in a swimming pool? Have you ever had sex in all the places that you think are going to be great, and then you find out, oh, God, this is awful. Way too much work.
I got my first black T-shirt, concert tee, Def Leppard tee, at the State Fair. And my first Def Leppard mirror at the State Fair.
Oh, really?
The two, they were meant to be.
That's pretty exciting.
One complements the other, yeah.
I remember when I won a mirror at a state fair as a kid. It was either shooting a free throw or hitting a balloon with a dart. One of those games I played, and the guy handed me the framed mirror, and I picked the one. He said, which one do you want? It was like Led Zeppelin, The Doors, The Beatles. And I picked the one that had the Coca-Cola font, and it said in big letters, cocaine. And then under that, in smaller letters, it said, rich man's aspirin. And I took that home. I'm probably 12, and I'm like, hey, Dad, check this. I mean, how stupid. I'm like, Dad, look, I won this. And he looked at that, and he looked at me, and he looked at the mirror, and he looked at me, and he goes, what the hell is wrong with you?
No.
I was like, I just thought it was cool. And no, he didn't think it was cool. He said, okay, thanks. And he stood up out of his chair where I handed it to him, and he walked right into the kitchen, and he dropped it right into the trash can.
Which makes it kind of cool.
Made it kind of cool. All right, I know how to get under the old man's skin. Just mention, top shelf drug use. That'll be. I have to file that one away for future use. Maybe bastard left before I could really turn his life into chaos. All right, Def Leppard at the fair. Def Leppard at the Minnesota State Fair. I wonder, do we know how many times they've actually played the fair? Because you announced Zepp, you said, oh, yeah, first time ever, like as a joke. And I Googled it earlier, and I was like, wait, I see 2015. I think I see 2012. I see like 29. There's a bunch of times. I mean, I wonder what the actual number is. It's pretty impressive.
I know, I mean, because it's a hits band. They come out and like we just demonstrated, a dozen of their songs, and you sing along. It's perfect. It's a perfect compliment to the State Fair effect. I mean, you're not going to the State Fair to discover that next new band,
right.
Or to see the Led Zeppelin reunion that obviously can never happen. But you know what I'm talking about. You go there for the love on a stick, a cold beer, and some Def Leppard, for crying out loud. But they would often package together. I saw them there with Heart one time. They'd often be out with like Tesla and Great White or whatever, and they'd kind of get a package deal going. But yeah, Def Leppard at the fair, perfecto.
It's pretty funny you say that's you don't go to the fair to find some new thing or to you're going in, you know what you want.
Yeah.
A message that my former band missed when we played the Minnesota State Fair. We put a set list together for the ages, and by the ages, I mean for the most diehard of the diehards.
And there were some there, I'm sure.
Oh, there were definitely some there, but I gotta say, man, the old the whole, hey, it's a wide net. You want to bring all the people in. We kind of missed that. Now we were excited for some fried eggs. If I remember, like our way of paying tribute to a local music scene was to play Quinn the Eskimo, the Bob Dylan song that he wrote but never performed himself.
Okay.
Just a whole bunch of stuff. We had just put a record out that year, and we're like, let's play most of the new album at the State Fair. So, again, the deep fried Snickers, great. The response to the set list, not so great. You live and learn.
Yeah,
Things happen. What are you going to do?
The hits at the fair, that
shouldn't have been so tough. Hey, you know what? If you're not making life hard on yourself, you can't leave those things to the universe. You got to create your own, potholes. Then you can't blame anybody else. I don't know. I'm just still justifying, still trying to make sense of it all.
For the fair, create your own potholes.
That's it. There you go. There's one. We got to start that list. Top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Tuesday morning. It is February the 11th. Guns N' Roses, Paradise City. I remember the summer of '88 seeing that video for the first time. Their album had been out about a year, and it was really starting to get traction, and it looked like, I think that thing's really coming around, that Guns N' Roses band. And then the video for Paradise City, that live footage of them at, I think, Giant Stadium opening for Aerosmith. And I remember watching it the first time and going, oh, they're about to be the biggest band in the world. There was just everything about the way it was shot and edited. And I didn't think about it in those terms, but it just overtook me like, holy crap, they're on their way. And I was apparently not the only guy who felt that way, because the rest of the world had the exact same response to that video. Like, oh my God, I have to rethink whatever it was I was thinking about this band before today.
I remember seeing that video, and I also remember calling up my buddy saying, hey, Eric, what was that band that we skipped when we went out to Alpine Valley to see Aerosmith, and we wanted to stay out we wanted to sit out in the parking lot and get stoned and drink beers and not, get in there for we're not here for opening bands. We're here for Aerosmith. And he said, yeah, that was Guns N' Roses, dude. I went, okay, good. Just want to make sure that I missed the biggest rock band in the world right now. Yeah, so that one out. I could hear them. It sounded rowdy.
They came through Atlanta, where I lived at the time. Before the Aerosmith tour, they were out with Motley Crue. And our bass player in our band had lived in L.A. and seen them out there when they were still just getting started. And he was like, oh, my God, you got to see this band. You got to see this band. It was right when the album came out. So Guns N' Roses meant nothing to anyone. And he dragged a group of us to the show. You've got to see this band. You've got to see this band. First song, someone throws something on stage. Axl Rose picks it up, throws it back into the crowd, and then jumps into the crowd and is taken out by security.
Yeah.
They got one song in, and it was over. And we were like, yeah, that's a great band, dude. You're right. They were amazing. Thanks.
They had a run there in the middle, though. But last time, I walked out. Or an hour and a half late, I was out in Sturgis, and I went, screw it, and just left.
They've been they've been together now, playing again with Slash and Duff back in since 2016 or 17 at least.
Yeah.
And I still remember seeing a thing like on Twitter, Guns N' Roses announced tour and I just there's no way this is real. This must be a joke. They're not playing shows. That's not true. And now it's almost a decade later, and hey, they're playing shows all over the world this year.
Yeah.
Paradise City, still very much a place they like to go visit occasionally. Your top 5 at 9, let's get right to it. Here's 5 stories that you probably need to know a little something about, or at least you'll find something worth hanging on to. The Minnesota Timberwolves owner, Glenn Taylor. Now, this guy purchased the team years and years ago for, let's see, he went back, what was it, $100 million or something? $88 million he bought the team for in 1994. And then along the way realized, I'm going to get out. I can cash in. I can sell the team for $1.5 billion. I think it's a good move. And then the Timberwolves got really good. And Glenn Taylor said, maybe I don't want to sell the team. Only problem was he'd already cut a deal with Alex Rodriguez and their business partner to do just that. He said, hey, you know what? I don't want to sell the team anymore. They said, too bad, dude. We're already doing this. This has been the story for the past 6, 8, 10 months or so. Now an arbitration court met and they said, Glenn, thanks, but no thanks. You're gone. See you later. Alex Rodriguez and his partner looks like they will be the new majority owners. Basically, from what I'm reading, all that's left is for the NBA Board of Governors to approve the sale. I believe they will. And A-Rod and partners have stressed they have no interest in relocating the team, which can only make me feel that they are interested in relocating the team. Just saying.
I mean, it would be devastating if we lose the Lynx. I hope they can do something with that Lynx team, Hope they can finally get them a championship. No, wait, they have 4. What was the other team they were buying with the Lynx?
I think it's pronounced Twelves. The Twelves.
The Twelves.
We'll see what happens. I don't think they have any. I don't think the NBA would want them to move the team myself. But you know what? Hey, what do I know? I also didn't think that Luka Doncic would ever leave Dallas. So really.
You want an owner that wants to win, and these couple of guys probably very much want to win, so they'll lay the money down. I mean, we went through decades of the poll ads, and have they sold that team yet, the Twins? And then the poll ads, openly said, we're not the kind of owners that are going to go out and pay a lot of money for a team. We're a small market. Yeah, we're just not going to do it. Thus the protest. Thus the team is for sale. So Timberwolves Lynx moving forward with Lore and A-Rod, go for it, man. Spend some money, get a championship.
Sell some of that art collection, A-Rod. You're such a renaissance man. I can't stand him. All right, number 4 on your top 5 at 9. A private jet landed at Scottsdale Airport in Scottsdale, Arizona yesterday. Landing gear failed upon landing. The plane veered off the runway, smashed into another jet that was parked on the tarmac. The pilot was killed. The co-pilot's in critical condition, as well as 2 of the passengers. This plane was owned by, but not at the time occupied by, Motley Crue singer Vince Neil.
Oh, I don't...
Weird.
Wild story. His girlfriend is in the hospital. She broke a bunch of ribs. But like I said, 2 other people, including the co-pilot, are in critical condition, and the pilot was killed. It's an awful turn of events. And then again, the word got out at first that it was Vince Neil's plane. As it turns out, he was not on the plane. And of course, Zepp, the first thing that occurred to you was...
is that plane getting off the ground with Vince in it anymore?
Wow.
I'm just saying. I mean, he's probably got to fly commercial. He needs the big engines. No, I mean, it's tragic because someone died. It just makes you think, what's going on out there on the old tarmacs these days. Are we looking left, looking right, and then looking left again? That's what I was taught in driving school.
I always say, when I see the pilots before you get on a plane and they're walking around, like looking at the aircraft, I'm like, what are you doing? What I do that to my car, too. It has no bearing on whether that thing's going to work or not.
No.
Speaking of people on planes, I heard a story. I was listening to a podcast about the Super Bowl wrap-up and stuff. And cousin Sal is a guy. If you've ever seen him on Jimmy Kimmel's show, he was on the Bill Simmons podcast, and he said he flew back from New Orleans to L.A. and he switched flights at the last second, and he was sitting in coach because it's impossible. He goes, I had a first-class seat. I had to switch and sit in coach because I wanted to change my flight, but everybody's leaving town the Saturday night before the Super Bowl because a lot of people in the media, they don't stay for the game. And he goes, it was impossible. I found one seat. I sit down, and across the aisle from him, also in coach, was Sam Darnold.
Huh. No.
Yeah.
Wait, headed where?
To L.A. from New Orleans. And Simmons like, no way. He goes, yeah, no, I said same thing. He switched his flight late. He's sitting in coach. Yeah. And I was like, I can't believe somebody recognized Sam Darnold. That's all I thought. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, the nation of England over there across the pond. Several hundred companies have now announced they are making the switch to a permanent 4-day work week. This will impact thousands of employees across many various industries, marketing, tech, charity groups. Extra free time leads to greater employee retention and motivation is what people have learned since the pandemic, since remote work took over. As people have come back into the office, long story short, a lot of conversations, a lot of experiments, and they're going, you know what? If you offer a 4-day work week, people stay put longer, they work better, they feel more motivated. It actually reduces costs for not having the office open as much, blah, blah, blah. And it's a good thing. I can't imagine that ever happening over here. I think Americans love that 5-day work week.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead,
I was
Ryder.
on 410s for a while, and it was freaking great. But if we're going to steal something from Europe, I want it to be those 2 weeks off in August.
Now
I mean, like, that's what I'm really going for.
For a holiday?
Yes.
We'll take a holiday.
A holiday.
We'll go on a holiday. It'll be nice. We'll all go to the same place. We do that now anyway. I mean, I don't know. Do whatever you want to do for it. I'm in radio. I don't work 7 days a week. So I don't really care. Whatever works out for people. I know a lot of people have the option to go to 4-day work weeks. A lot of friends now are doing it. So go for it. But I think the bigger question is, to me anyway, do you want to work Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through... I'm screwing it up. Do you want Monday or Friday off?
I myself I think I would opt for Friday off. Just
you want
because
Friday,
that's naturally what I think. But the more I think about it, maybe the Monday off is really, maybe that would be, who cares? I don't, well, it's not going to happen. We're doing this damn show 5 days a week. Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, my buddy just texted me. He goes, how about a 5-day work week? Yeah, I think a lot of Americans are wondering what a 5-day work week would be like. That would be cool. Let's do that.
Cool.
Let's try that first.
Number 2 in your top 5 at 9. We talked last week about the fact that in Minnesota there was, the nuisance beavers. You're not able to eat them anymore. You got to trap them properly. But a lot of problems with people eating beaver meat. Apparently, there were some concerns that it might not be safe. This is never a concern in the Czech Republic because you eat a nuisance beaver over there, you're gonna hear about it, and I'll tell you why. The Czech Republic has now had to give full credit to a family of beavers. They have been struggling to repair a national park. There was a series of dams that the country's been trying to figure out how to build for 7 years to restore water areas in a nature park. They've been doing paperwork, studies, commissions, deadlock in the government. They're like, we've got to build these dams. We've got to restore the wetlands to their original condition. And then last week, out of the blue, a family of beavers built the dams exactly where planners hoped to build dams, and it took them 3 days to do this, and it is spared. The Czech government came in, and honestly, their experts looked at it and went, this is exactly what we were hoping to do, and hey, 7 years in, all right, we just needed some beavers to do. The beavers knew exactly where to build the dams, a series of dams, multiple dams functioning in all the right areas. There you have it. Don't you dare eat a nuisance beaver in the Czech Republic.
We can't eat beaver. That's just ridiculous. I think it got.
All right. Yeah, no, don't eat the beavers. Elect the beavers.
Yeah.
Let's let the beavers. They do what they do. This reminds me of reading an article a couple of summers ago. The Great Salt Lake out in Utah was draining. It was down to like 30%. If they lose the Salt Lake, they lose their ecology. It's just you can't lose the Salt Lake in Salt Lake City, for crying out loud. So they came up with a $3 billion plan to refill it using drills or bringing in water from the ocean. what have you. $3 billion is a lot of money to a state budget. That's a lot of state budgets right there. And then it snowed 900 inches, and it's up to 88%. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
They think it might be getting too full now.
Yeah.
So let nature take a shot at it. Been getting away with it for 4.5 billion years. I love the beaver story.
A gentleman by the name of Yaroslav Obermeyer is the head of the Central Bohemian Czech Nature and Landscape Protection. He said it best: beavers always know best.
Well, happy beaver, happy. Wait, how's that go?
Happy beaver, happy dam. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I would like to take a moment to wish the very best to our listeners in Chanhassen.
Yeah.
Chanhassen, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us this morning. Number one on your top 5 at 9. Oh, my. Aaron Rodgers. Remember him? Flew to New Jersey last week to meet with the New York Jets to discuss his future with the team. And he was told, thanks, but no thanks. We're done. The Jets are moving on from Aaron Rodgers after 2 seasons, one of which he actually played football in. And so now he's going to be, but he doesn't want to retire. DraftKings has posted the odds for Aaron Rodgers' next team. Fourth on that list at a plus 400, your Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, my God. Now, it's 8 below out, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you think we need this right now? Do we need this news?
I can't imagine.
To get our blood boiling? Yes.
Nothing would solidify the culture that O'Connell has created, quite like bringing in Ayahuasca Boy to upset the apple cart. But no, here's really where this story is leading, Zepp. The number one team, according to DraftKings and insiders, with a plus 200 odds, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, my God. You know what? Whatever. You're right. Pittsburgh's turned into the young and the restless. Just like sands through the hourglass, so are the days. We had 3 football coaches in my entire lifetime. Maybe 5 or 6 quarterbacks, and now it's the young and the restless. Now it's Jersey Shore in Pittsburgh. Why not? Come on, Aaron. Come on over, man.
If for nothing other than my and Ryder's eternal glee, watching you have to sort of cheer for Aaron Rodgers would just be a blessing for the fall of 25. Hope springs eternal.
Go Eagles. That's where that's the side of the state I was born on. Maybe I come back home.
There's your top 5 at 9 for Tuesday, February 11th.